Hello and welcome to 3D CNC. To start things off, I have to mention that resin 3D printing can be potentially dangerous, but if you're careful, you know what you're doing and follow some simple rules, that shouldn't be something that stops you from trying it out. Some of those things you have to keep in mind, and some of the rules you should follow is that you always should print in a well ventilated area to avoid fume buildup as much as possible. Also always wear some nitrile gloves as well as some protective glasses when you're handling resin. With that out of the way, enjoy the video. So this is the Longer3D Orange 10 Resin 3D printer. It was released about 2 years ago, so it's not the latest and greatest now that monoscreen 3D printers have taken over. With that said, what makes this interesting is that you can find it regularly for as low as $80 on banggood. I have opened this printer before and tested it before making this video, so some of the things might not be packed as they originally were. It was extremely well packed though, so the box was reinforced with cardboard corners as well as these really thick sturdy plates both on the top and the bottom. One thing that is different from when this printer arrived is that the acrylic enclosure was not pre-assembled, and I had to peel the protective paper on both sides of the acrylic, something which is a bit annoying and time consuming, but actually not that bad. And the closure is actually held together quite well with the rubber bands included. You could probably glue it, but it's actually not that flimsy, so you will probably be okay with using it as it is. As for the rest of the construction of this printer, it's actually built like a tank made from thick aluminum plates and what actually seem to be really high quality bolts. Even parts that don't really affect the rigidity of the machine are actually made out of thick plates and all metal parts. I don't actually think there are any plastic parts in this printer, but I did replace the Z-axis coupler on my from one I printed on my Credit Ender 3 to replace the stock one. That's only because I really don't like these flimsy springy ones, but it probably would have worked just fine. So the build quality is actually real good, and it feels like a quite premium printer actually. And another premium thing with this printer is the touchscreen, which actually is quite responsive. But if we talk about noise though, it's loud. It's like real loud when the fan kicks in, cooling that LCD, so just listen to this. If you have it out in a shop where it can work for itself, that shouldn't really be a problem though. The accessories are actually also quite impressive, but I would like to have seen an included small plastic scraper for removing failed prints from the the resin vat, because you can't use the metal one because you will damage the PI film. The metal scraper is actually really nice though. You also get a micro SD card with that reader and some other accessories like filter and some gloves. Now for some things to think about and keep in mind if you're thinking about buying this printer. It does have a relatively low resolution on the LCD, which can lead to some surface imperfections. For me they seem barely noticeable though, and you really need a magnifying glass to see them, so it's like 100 times better than an FDM 3D printer, and nothing that affects the print, but there can be some surface imperfections. Another, in my opinion, bigger downside is it's not a mono screen 3D printer, and the screen it uses can be hard to find, especially in some areas, and the screen is something that you will have to replace at some point. And that's why I think this printer is really good for trying out resin printing. You can use it for a few months and maybe get something bigger and better down the line if you're going to print a lot. If you only print once in a while, though, it should hold up for all your needs. So, with that said, I do think it's a great first resin 3D printer. That's if you can find it at the same discount I did. It seems to go down to that around $80 quite frequently. So just check in on Banggood and you will probably find it. But if not, there are a lot of better alternative 3D printers that are a lot newer than this one. Now I leave you with some more of the prints I've done. I will also leave links down below, both an affiliate link for creating an account if you don't already have one on Banggood, and also a normal link for the printer. If you sign up using my link, we both get credit to use when shopping. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy 3D printing!